Hello, everyone. Today, I wanted to just chat a little bit about what I wish I knew before starting a dream interpretation business. For those of you who are curious, I've heard in the comments and in the DMs, people that are curious about starting an actual dream interpretation business. And I want to share certain things that I've learned along the way that I would definitely do differently and focus on other areas if I were to start from day one today. And that's what I want to share with you to see that it helps you all. um, that my experiences can help you all. So the first is, seems kind of obvious, work on your own dreams first. This is how I started. Obviously, if you've heard my story, dream interpretation was meant to help me within my own healing journey. And then I loved it so much. People started asking me about it as I was sharing what I was learning. And that then the business took off, and I saw the opportunity to do what I really wanted to do and quit my job and really put all of my energy into continuing to learn, continuing to grow, and doing this business. So I was working really efficiently on my dreams, and I still do. However, when you start a business, and if anybody else can relate, especially when you're a one woman or one man show, and you are your marketing team, you are your support, you are your everything else, and it's just you in the business, you kind of get sucked into all these different roles. And sometimes the actual work that you're doing on yourself takes a back end, because there's so many things. If people are starting to book with you, then you're putting more emphasis on your client streams, obviously, and doing the back ends and integrations and things, all that stuff. So it's super important to primarily make sure that you are still being consistent within your own dream work, because that's going to show you so much. I mean, the more that you experience your own dreams and the different levels of it, I find that you open up to more of the different dream types, which is something that I cover in my certification program, all about the dream types. And essentially, we start off working with your own dreams first, because you can't be a dream interpreter if you don't have that experience and connection with your own dreams. So we definitely focus on that hardcore primarily, and within the first few coaching sessions as well. But making sure that you are staying consistent with your own practice, regardless of what else is happening with the business, which is also a reason why the certification program, I am so focused on also having business training made easy for everybody to not have to figure it out on your own. I'm here to help with the tech stuff, and we have a library of all the tech support that you may need. As we are working with our own dreams, and the coaching sessions, of course, we dive deeper into them and answer your questions as well. But that would be the first thing that I would say, like, regardless of what's happening, regardless of all the things that the pieces that involve running a business, staying committed to your own dream work is essential. And what goes hand in hand with that too is that when I was first starting my business, I was more in a student mentality. I was at the same time studying my yoga teacher training, doing dream interpretation. I actually started studying a lot of things at the same time. And I was so excited. I started this page. If you scroll way to the beginning of it, you'll see that I'm like, oh, I learned this, I learned that, and just kind of sharing my experiences. And then once it shifted into a business, I started thinking like, well, I have to be an expert before I share anything. And that's not true. It's a lot more efficient and beneficial to everyone else, as well as yourself, that you share as you are learning, share your own experiences, be transparent. I'm all for being transparent and sharing. I know some business coaches may say otherwise, or may suggest like keep your personal life on the side, or whatever the case is. Maybe it's different because dreams are so personal that you can share some experiences in a lesson type of way. And just knowing that you're still a couple of steps further along than somebody who's just starting, somebody who just had a really impactful dream and they're searching and found you, and can learn something by you sharing what you're learning, what your own experiences were. So that is the second one. I don't know if my, I'm just noticing that my camera might be a little too bright, but we'll continue going with it. It's kind of really sunny in here. But that would be the second one. Continue sharing as you're learning. You don't have to wait until you finish your whole programming and you have years of experience before you start sharing. And on that note too, if you wait, you're also going to miss out on a lot of those little nuggets of information that I know when I'm studying something new and I get so excited because I didn't think of something that came up in a dream experience or something that I read and then I saw for myself. You know, you're going to miss out if you wait 6 years later to have more experience to share that. You're not going to be in that beginner mindset. And people want to connect too, want to know what you're learning. And that can encourage somebody else to start grabbing a dream journal and just start writing it out. Like you don't have to, if you don't feel comfortable saying like, oh, this is, you know, how you do the dream interpretation from your first day taking, you know, the program or a new something that you're learning, you're just sharing your own experiences and the things that really spoke to you and resonated with you can resonate for somebody else as well. And on that same token, I just spaced out on what I was going to say and I thought it was going to come back to me, but we'll just keep going. There's also the saying that once taught, twice learned. I think that's how the phrase goes. And so as you are sharing with others what you're personally learning, it's going to ingrain more in your brain as well. And so that's why I feel like it's important to not just think like, oh, I'm going to wait until I just finished this whole certification program or, you know, have all these years of experience. Share as you go along. Somebody will appreciate that as well and form connections that way and also ingrain that in your own system and in your own mind. The interesting thing about dreams too, specifically as a modality to learn about, is that the more you talk about it, and maybe you've experienced if you've just found this page or any of my content, as you start hearing about it, watching videos, reading blogs, things like that, you're subconsciously getting the message too. Like if you're giving the message to the people who are following your own page to really look at their own dreams. Like even if that's something that they just browsed through and they saw it and then it was like, oh, it's already kind of a way of programming the brain. And it's gonna, the next day, they're probably gonna have dreams that they're gonna want to share with you about as well. So that's another thing that I would recommend. And probably the last one for now, just to not make this super long, is the importance of dialogue with your clients, which I've shared before, but here I think it's super important, especially when you're starting off. You know, sometimes there's the urge maybe to say like, oh, I know what this means because I looked it up and it made sense for me, or this is what I learned in this course or this book or whatever it is, or this is how it resonated with me. But with dreams specifically, they are so unique to the dreamer. And we also have to consider that we are all from different cultures, upbringings, beliefs, experiences. So the importance of opening up the dialogue to where you ask the right questions and bring certain things to the surface that'll allow the dreamer to get the meaning behind it without implanting your own bias, which is what dream dictionaries and Google is all about. It puts the bias of whoever wrote it into you, and it's vague enough to where it usually makes sense. You're like, okay, that kind of clicked. So leaving the conversation kind of open-ended where you're guiding them, but at the end of the day, they come up with that interpretation. It's crucial because we don't want to put our own thoughts and beliefs into the client who is coming to us, you know, with an open mind and with the desire to have an understanding for their dreams. And this is something super, super important, which is why we focus a big portion of the time in the coaching calls on what specific questions to ask, how to ask the questions, how to leave it open-ended, specific things and processes to say to your client where you're not saying, well, this means that, where you can assist them, because we do also cover in the program universal symbols, but as a way to add to their own personal understanding, representation of the symbol, and specific fill in the blank lines. That's all covered in there, and we practice them together as well. That's why we have these coaching calls, so that you know exactly what to tell your client, and you don't have to run that risk of putting your own thoughts into somebody who came to you for help and support in understanding their own subconscious. We don't want them to understand ours. It's all about the dreamer. And yeah, that is another thing that I wish I knew from the beginning. These are things that I've learned along the way and through all the dream interpretations, and how I've really solidified my practice and now my method in cosmic dream alchemy. So yeah, that's a little chat of what I wish I knew when I first started. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you. And I'm going to have some resources in the bottom for you to download for free if you want to just, start brainstorming some things, looking at the prompts, and seeing how dream interpretation could possibly be a form for you to have a business in, or to add to your existing business. So hope this was helpful for all of you out there who are considering it. Let me know in the comments, what resonated the most with you, or send me a DM if you're curious about anything else. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.